Today, it is developing a culture that breeds longevity. And this is week 4, solid silver. And I'm going to be sharing with you, what culture is all about and why that's important. So we get more conscious of the power of creating culture. And so this message today is really important. And culture is the glue that holds your team together, even in the tough times. So for those who don't know my story, I started building doTERRA about 4.5 years ago, and I was in Connecticut. That's my husband, Brandon. We've got 2 little cute baby boys. Um, Even though we're in Utah in this photo on vacation, that was pretty much our life in Connecticut. For those that live there, it's snow all the time. And at the time when I was, 5 months pregnant with my first is when Dr. Axe introduced me to the oils, and it helped my back pain, my headaches. But I'm one of the weird ones that actually joined for the business. I was really happy in my marriage and happy about being pregnant, but at that time, my career life was very dark. I didn't know what I was going to do. I had no clue. The company I've been working with, another network marketing company, I was making about 1,000 to 2,000 a month, which wasn't a lot considering I had been doing it for 5 years, but it was definitely paying our rent. And that company got sold, and I was devastated because I was pregnant, and I thought that I was, I'd left the corporate world selling timeshare for Marriott, where I made a lot of money, but I was miserable. And I had found, something that I loved, and it just, I wasn't really making any money, but it was enough to pay rent. And so I didn't know what I was going to do, because my husband's like, well, a lot of people obviously have to get, 2 jobs, take their kids to daycare, and it's okay. That's what we do. And so that's what the plan was. But deep down in my stomach, I was like, this doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like that's what I'm supposed to do. So I was just praying about it. It was pretty dark for about 2 or 3 months. I didn't know what God was going to do. But then out of the clear blue sky, doTERRA came into my life. And I knew, I had a gut feeling when Josh took us to dinner that this was it, that I needed to pay attention, and that this was my opportunity. So I loved oils already. I loved smells, and I loved natural health. So I was like, okay, cool, let's do it. And so I went for it from the beginning, and I, hit diamond in about 14 months. I worked very, very hard. When I was pregnant, when I was, birthing my baby, I was enrolling someone that day when I was on the birthing ball, which is so funny. I loved it though. I enjoyed it. I went for it. I was in Connecticut. Everybody was saying yes to the oils. It was awesome. And I just, we started making, I hit silver, within about 4 months, I think, enrolling people mostly with just, volume. I had maybe a few shares, and I had a couple of my leaders with me in the beginning that are still with me for sure. And they are rocking it. But it just, after that, I ended up, my husband was working 70 hours a week. I retired him in 2 years. So he told me that we could leave Connecticut if I hit diamond, that we could talk. And because he said he'd never gonna leave Connecticut. So I was like, okay, watch me. So we hit diamond because I was really wanting to get out of Connecticut because I wanted to get back to the beach. And then he said, okay, he left his job. We moved down to South Carolina. And then 6 months after he joined me, we went blue. And so we've been working together full time, figuring that whole thing out. He hasn't gone back to work because he loves what he's doing now with me. We have different roles. And then we hit presidential in November of last year. We haven't hit it since. It's normal to hit a rank and come back. It happens, as you're well aware. But the key part is that we continue to grow. You're going to continue to grow. Think about where you were a year from now. January can be a tough month. It's everywhere, but we're going into the spring, and I always think, where were you last January, right? I always think about, and he pulled up the numbers from last January. He's like, see, it's good. So as long as you're growing, then just, focus on that. So I love the business. I love leadership, working with leaders. And my why, which originally was to literally get out of the snow and get on the beach. With my second baby, I was, pregnant with him on the beach. And it's really changed our lives. It's allowed us to get freedom where we were paycheck to paycheck for a long time. And now, we're about to buy a new house, or we're looking for a new house. And, we're getting out of the house that we're in. So it's really been able to change our lives and help us to accomplish the dreams that are in our hearts. And now it's really my mission is to help my team succeed and get financial freedom. So whatever the dreams are in your heart, go after them, step out of your comfort zone, work hard for them, but enjoy what you're doing. Make sure you're having fun. I feel like that was the big part of talking about culture. It doesn't feel like work when you're having fun doing what you're doing and when you're loving what you're doing. So make sure that that's in alignment, because that's what's going to help motivate you. It's going to help motivate your team to push forward. So team culture. In this training, we're going to talk about what's so important about team culture, why should leaders even care or pay attention to culture, how to be a guardian of the doTERRA culture, and how to build a culture that breeds longevity. So I promise in this training, you're going to know how to create a high vibe team that is connected and achieving success together without stressing that they're going to quit when things get tough. That's the goal of this education. And you're going to walk away with easy and practical tips on how to create an amazing team culture. What is culture? Let's start there. Culture is a balanced blend of human psychology, attitudes, actions, and beliefs that combined create either pleasure or pain, serious momentum, or miserable stagnation. So every organization has a culture. Some are by conscious design, others simply happen because leaders refuse to lead. Now you're probably thinking of a place that you used to work, like, yep, that's true. So no matter what, culture is in every single team. It's in every organization. It's either consciously created or it just happens because the person doesn't lead or is leading in a poor way. And that culture is going to go down into your team. So your team they're feeling something now and you're feeling something. We are so blessed to have an amazing culture on Essentials Coach team. You'll know Sherry is huge on this, and I always want to duplicate that because culture duplicates, okay? So we're blessed to have an amazing culture on our team, and so we want to duplicate that, and this is how we duplicate it by being conscious. So how much thought have you given to the culture in your organization? Do you know the most important areas of culture? Have you helped create it? Have you let it happen by chance? And also, the other point is don't think that you can worry about culture when you have, 5,000, 10,000 people. You set the culture when you have 3 people. Every leader wants their team to achieve success. That's the point. And the leader's job is to find that success. And that begins with a strategy. A strategy is really how you achieve that success. The key here is your ability to execute on your strategy is dependent on your team's culture. So positive culture creates that growth for strategy, and negative culture kills strategy. So can you think of a place right now where if you want to put in the chat box, if you've ever worked at a place in your past, like I can remember specifically, I was working in food and beverage for years in college and I had a really bad experience. I worked at this bar and the owner manager was so mean to me and rude, and it really just made me feel horrible about myself. I got nervous when I would be working. It was like a club atmosphere, and I never felt good enough. It just really affected me, and I wanted out of there as soon as I could. I mean, that was what spiraled me into moving out to California and buying a one-way ticket to a place I'd never been, because I just was like, I can't do this anymore. These people are treating me horrible. So if you've never felt appreciated, you know what that feels like. If you've gone to work just to pay the bills, that's a culture that you're just like, ugh, I'm not motivated by this place at all. What am I actually doing? This is so, pointless. And so there's a connection between culture, strategy, success, leadership. It's well documented, it's well researched and practiced, and it really can be summarized in one common phrase that you've probably heard. Culture eats strategy for breakfast. And that's a quote by Peter Drucker, who's one of the top management gurus of the 20th century. So in other words, if you care about the success of your organization, you need to care about culture. So anyone can copy your strategy, but no one can copy your culture. So you have to create a high performance culture to enable success. So let's talk about what defines a high performance culture. So Mark Zuckerberg, in a video on the Facebook careers page, he said that the reason why we've built a company is because I think a company is by far the best way to get the best people together and align their incentives around doing something great. So at Facebook, it's about making the world more open and connected. These drive the employees, guide the product, and energize the entire company. If an employee isn't committed to a mission, it just becomes another job. And when it's just another job, it usually means the employee isn't happy. So on the other hand, when the employee is on board with a mission, they're engaged in the job and want to help the mission succeed, thus helping the company succeed. So I'd say Facebook has been pretty successful and is continuing to grow. And here's why. I mean, it's very clear to the employees that they're all about making the world a better place. It's more open and more connected. So that is really what he has said. Everyone understands why their work matters. That's the key to a happy culture. Why does their work matter? You have to connect that with your people to understand why they're helping to make the world a better place, or they're really going to just lose motivation. So if we put this into doTERRA, obviously doTERRA is the gold standard in essential oils. We have 7 million users and growing. We have people joining left and right. It's booming. I mean, it is literally amazing what doTERRA has done, and they're tracking the same as Facebook and Apple. So again, culture. I would say we have one of the strongest cultures of any organization I have ever come across. And so if you look at what the doTERRA culture is, it's here. The doTERRA culture is one that is focused on the promotion of wellness in homes and communities, education through scientific research, integrity in our dealings with others, a commitment to giving back through humanitarian efforts, and above all, a focus on the individual, not the bottom line. That's by Mark Wolfert on culture, one of the executives. And so that's our culture. Screenshot that, write that down. And, where did this come from? This culture came from the executive team, and it came from the beginning. It was, they established a strong culture for wellness advocates to incorporate into their teams and organizations. So if you want to be successful with your team and you want to continue to grow, the sooner you get this culture in on your team and make it apparent and have this mission be resonating with your new sharers, these baby builders, your customers, that they're making the world a better place by being part of doTERRA, this is what's going to make them motivated to realize that they're doing something for good. And at doTERRA, our culture is a blend of attitudes, actions, and beliefs that give life to everything that we do. So it's really our personality, it's our heart and soul, and it represents those values that are most important to us, and it drives our actions. So I'm the first to tell people, when you go to a corporate event, what's up on stage? Healing Hands, healthcare initiative, our mission, our values. We don't have people up there flashing money, because that is not what we want. Our heart and soul is on what is our purpose in life. Okay, so getting people debt-free, humanitarian, education, science, literally changing the world. That is a company that's coming from wellness to make a difference on people's lives. So teamwork, respect of product, we have the most pure product, respect for our customers. These are all things that are part of doTERRA's culture. This photo is essential to get up everywhere. When I look at this, I feel like this describes doTERRA in one photo, and the heart and soul of doTERRA. So, make sure your team knows the doTERRA mission and values. I talk about Healing Hands sometimes to customers. Even when I first start talking about doTERRA, I start talking about, the Healing Hands and how amazing it is, and get this out there in your social. Let people know that you're part of something that's really giving back and that's important to you. And this is what doTERRA Healing Hands Foundation, they bring healing and hope to the world by providing global communities with the tools needed to become self-reliant. Through projects addressing microcredit lending, access to healthcare, education, sanitation, clean water, they fight child sex trafficking. Individuals are empowered and lives are changed. So we're not just empowering each other, we're literally empowering people to have nothing. So would you join us in doing this? I mean, hello, that's what we're doing. So when your leaders are passionate about the values and mission, they're dedicated to accomplishing the goal, and we're all in goal together. The other part of doTERRA's culture is family. Family comes first, and everyone is committed to this business for that same type of balance, and that's super refreshing. So I love to talk about the fact that doTERRA is all about family. We have, you go to convention or leadership, you have all these moms running around nursing their babies. Providing this opportunity for moms to, raise their kids and have a business that they love, and also be able to take care of their kids with the oils. So it's such a family focus, and I love that I have my kids growing up in doTERRA culture, because I really want them to have a understanding of the less fortunate and how we can give back, and how our focus and mission is on people that don't have anything. I want to keep that very in the forefront. And I love that I'm able to combine that, and I can have my doTERRA family, that's basically doTERRA has the same values. And so I'm able to raise my children in alignment with my values. So my values, what's important to me, is also what's important to doTERRA. So my purpose, my goal in life, my giving back, a lot of times as a mom, it becomes, you become busy. When I was in my single years, I was able to serve and volunteer and do all that. I mean, that's really hard, because I need to be there to serve my family when they're home, and to take care and raise my babies. So, and in the day I have to work. So it's hard for me to volunteer. What I love is I'm able, through Healing Hands and with doTERRA, to really serve and to know that my dollars are making a difference. And, one day my goal, my vision is to take my kids on a Healing Hands trip and see them do mission work and humanitarian work. So I love that has come together, and that I can combine my values with the values of my family, and it's in alignment. So this is a great thing about doTERRA. And so this is who we are. And you can screenshot this, but it's important to know as you're walking in this, and you want to walk in this, because your identity with who you are and being in the culture, this is the culture that you're in. Okay. So we're engaging, caring, we're concerned with promoting wellness throughout the world. So this is also something to screenshot and send to someone that maybe you're recruiting, and say, does this fit in with you? Does this resonate with you? Because this is why doTERRA is different. This is why I love doTERRA. And if this is something that you feel like this is who you are, then you would have a place here. We're not salespeople. This is who we are, So we are engaging, caring, concerned with promoting wellness throughout the world. We are here to serve others. We are dedicated to providing meaningful opportunities for humanitarian aid throughout the world. We are genuine and authentic. We focus on our strengths, not on our weakness. We believe in principle-based leadership, in which we are honest, ethical, and moral in our behavior and interactions with each other. Our products empower families, neighborhoods, and communities. We promote the use of pure, natural, non-synthetic essential oils and products. We are committed to education. We exaggeration, embellishment of the truth, and hyperbole are all concepts we shy away from. We don't do that. So this is a great thing to know what you embody. And if you meet someone and they tell you where they work, your perception of that place of work will change based on your opinion of that person. So if you're going around talking about doTERRA, and there are people that don't, there are a ton of people, most people don't even know what doTERRA is. I mean, we're becoming more of a household name, but if that person that tells you where they work, if they're nice, you're going to view that company in a positive light. If they're a jerk, then you're not going to view the company favorably. So this is why it's important to hire people and to recruit people who share your company's values. If somebody that I'm trying to think would be great in this business, if they're not about this type of thing, and maybe, they may be an influencer, but they're kind of fake, or they're very aggressive, like, you know what, like that's not necessarily who is going to fit in here into our culture. So I talk about doTERRA culture, and this is a great tool when you're trying to help a new builder or someone that is thinking about the business. Would this work? Would this fit into the type of person that you see and the type of culture that you like to be part of? So here's some key points to building your business and being a guardian of the doTERRA culture. So we want to talk about being a guardian of doTERRA culture, because this is why doTERRA is continuing to grow and grow and grow, is because we as leaders talk about being guardians of the culture. So when we go to Blue Diamond presidential events, this is like the topic of conversation. How do we keep doTERRA to feel like how it feels as we're getting huge? And understanding doTERRA culture and living it attracts people with similar values and goals. So it's culture is not only about what we do, but it's a definition of who we are. So a strong culture flourishes with a clear set of values. And so this is key. If we look at some of the ways that, key points of how we become guardians of doTERRA culture. The first one is the healthcare initiative. So at the healthcare initiative, this is where doTERRA is literally set up to change healthcare over the next decade. They have brought essential oils, plant medicine, into mainstream. So before, oils were kind of like, hippie, no one paid attention. They were like, not effective. doTERRA comes in and changes everything. The key with this, when you're talking about changing healthcare, is that doTERRA is integrative. They, as part of their mission, you can look it up, have always formed to partner with the medical community. They want to merge two worlds. So at doTERRA, we don't judge people who use mainstream medicine. We understand that it has a place and it's appropriate at times. So we also bring science and research into this world to merge them and to collaborate. So with doTERRA, the healthcare initiative, we're collaborating and we're merging the worlds of holistic health, natural health, and modern medicine. So we integrate, we look for ways to unite, and we need to do that as teams and to be guardians of that. So let's be careful that we make sure, as new people are coming into our team, that they have this type of voice, that they understand that doTERRA, we don't judge people for using modern medicine. We collaborate. We look for ways to unite. So you may be totally holistic. I mean, I'm pretty much holistic. My kids they're so holistic, and that's how I live my life. But I'm so thankful that I have modern medicine if I need it. And when I meet a physician, like tomorrow, then we're going to talk the same language because we are going to be able to collaborate. And I'm going to talk to him about how it's so great that doTERRA likes to integrate, that we like to partner with the medical community. We have all the best science and research institutes. Like, that's when you're going to draw those people in because you're speaking their language. So when they, when someone says to you, well, what if, I like things that are backed by research, and be like, oh, that's so great. You will love doTERRA because everything that doTERRA does is backed by research. And this is who we are. So make sure you're explaining this to people. I always, whenever there's a question, don't just base it on your opinion. I mean, definitely share your testimony of what you do, but you need to be able to get this into your team to say, listen, you're new. You need to rely on the credibility of doTERRA's medical advisory board, the credibility of who we are, that we have, we work with the top scientists, research centers, and we have a medical advisory board. These are all board certified physicians. And this is where we really, work directly with healthcare professionals and the medical community. And we're focused on developing and advancing the uses of essential oils in clinical environments. So this is where you want to pull this in when you're talking to people, whenever they bring up anything like, oh, I heard, for instance, frankincense wasn't good for nursing. Oh, where did you hear that? I always ask that question. Who told you that? Where did you get that information? And sometimes they just say, oh, my friend told me. Oh, can you find out where your friend told me that? Would you mind sending me the research? Because I've never heard of that. And we have 7 million users. And everything that doTERRA does is on based off the medical research and our medical advisory board. And so we have, 7 million users. We have tons of moms, using frankincense while breastfeeding. And so I'll definitely would love to see any research that you have on that. I always ask for the research because usually they have that's what they need to hear. And I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Yeah. I guess it was just from some blog, or she just didn't know what she was talking about, which is usually the case. So anyways, when you don't know the answer, always go to the fact that doTERRA has credibility and everything that we do is backed by science and research. Okay. So that is our culture. That's what we do. We don't just bring, like they said, hyperbole, exaggeration. We just bring research and science. We're a science company. So here's some questions to ask when you're looking at your team. And your culture. Are you a positive leader? Ever wonder why personal development is stressed so much in doTERRA? And part of that reason is because that to create a positive atmosphere, you need to become a positive leader. So how do you do that? Personal development, mindset, and you would pretty much know, like when you talk to somebody and somebody on your team and your downline comes to you with a challenge or a problem, what do you say? And if you're having a bad day, don't ever go tell your downline, call your upline, never complain downline, because that will duplicate. Never talk bad about somebody, especially try never to do that. But obviously, if you have some stuff to say that's been bothering you, don't talk to your downline about it, because that is going to be a cancer that feeds throughout your team, and that's not good. So you can achieve more positivity, obviously meditating, praying. Don't get on the phone with somebody when you're super negative on your team. Wait till you're in a better mindset. Read inspirational material, work on weeding out your negative thoughts. So be careful of the words that you're speaking to your team. Even if you're having a bad day, don't be spreading that to them, because that's not what they need, because that's going to duplicate down. Always be spreading great vibes and growing as a positive leader. How do you communicate to your team that you care? This is going to be key. When you get around your team, hang out with them, love them. When's the last time you called? To see how they're doing. When they're going through hard times, be there for them. And that's going to be really good to communicate. Maybe if you're not really quality time, like sending notes in the mail, sending little things, just be there for them and let them know that you care. Do you delegate responsibilities? So give up some of the responsibility and allow your team to take charge of their own business. So in growing teams, they flourish without dependency on individual leaders. So giving people important responsibilities helps them to feel like they're belong to something worthwhile, and it'll help them grow as leaders while giving them a sense of loyalty to the team and to know that they have something to contribute. So I've always been able to just see different talent in my team and just be like, oh my gosh, that person, has to train on this. And so, we've gotten together with my leaders and we've had different trainings where I've had each one of them lead. And so delegating responsibilities is great and letting people step up. When I had a business training at my team, I had Rachel, one of my local platinums. She took over and did a lot of the business training because she has a lot to offer. And that, I don't just try to do it all. You don't want to be the one just doing everything. You want to collaborate. You want, this is a team. They're not just followers. They're not followers. They're your team. They're you collaborate with each other. And so pull people in and delegate. Don't try to do everything for them. And so, the last thing is, what is your why as a team? So each person has their own why that's individual, but also as your team, what is your why? One of the exercises I did was I took a blank piece of paper and I started writing down all these words to describe how I wanted my team to feel and like what I felt like the purpose of the team was. So that could be a really great exercise for you to do, to think about what you want your team to feel like and what you want your team to just have that type of culture. So establishing positive team culture, let's talk about that. The waters can get rough in doTERRA world. There's no-shows, classes where nobody comes, where they get canceled, the host cancels, someone that you've been talking to for a year enrolls with somebody else. Your family just doesn't enroll with you. You have upper limit mindset blocks that come when you start doing personal development and you realize, oh my gosh, I have a lot of issues to work on. There's life, kids, stress, marriage, up leveling when you're going to a new level and you realize it's going to make you grow. You have to deal with people. Oh my gosh, so many people that you have to deal with. The list just keeps going on. So waters get rough. It's not like this every day, but there's days where it is rough. And again, I think about back when I worked at the corporate world. Oh my gosh, I felt like this was like just so boring. But it's with any business that you are in, you're going to have stuff that will come up. Anything worthwhile is going to take work. And so with part of this business, when you're having those rough waters, here's some tips to have that positive team culture. It's going to really hold that through. Whenever I'm having bad times, like I'll call my upline and be like, oh, I'm so thankful for Sherry, Jen Oldham, because they keep me strong and solid. And it's important that we allow that for our team. It's important that they have a safe place to go to when it's like rough waters. So here we go, relationships. We can't talk about having longevity without relationships. And I really want to ask you these questions. Are your leaders like family? Are your customers even? If you don't have really good leaders yet, or maybe some of you have, shares, builders, but are they like family? If they're brand new babies in doTERRA, make them like family, hang out with them, grow, figure out how to connect with them. For longevity, you have to have a relationship. So people can quit doTERRA, but they cannot quit you. I would never quit my team, my upline, because we're like family. You want to establish trust. When I was first starting out, I had a lot of questions. It's different as you grow. Like if you still have, certain leaders calling you every single day that's been doing this for 4 years, then okay, that might be a little bit of an enabling thing, but that's not the normal. What happens in the beginning is you have to be there for people to help them become more independent. So that the key is to not have to need you. I don't need Sherry, but I have her there for me in times where I really need her. And she's always there. When I need her, she's always there. So, but she's helped me to grow independently. So that's what we want to do is be there, get trust there, always be there for your team, but make sure that you are teaching them how to be independent, because so that they don't need you, but they only need you when they really need you, you're still close in your family. And so don't cancel on them. Don't flake out on people. Sherry flew to come see me. She builds my team. She's always there. And so it's not all the time we're able to do this, but we get together, she makes an effort. And so this is a thing that you want to really make an effort, especially with your qualifiers. I'm super close with my first, second level leaders, third levels, and even people that I've enrolled, even people wherever they are, I want them to feel like they can come to me, even if I don't know them well, So another question, are you a people person? Some of you are like, nope, I'm not. So, okay, network marketing with this business, you have to buckle up. You got to become a people person. It's the way it is. If you want to be successful, you have to start loving people, loving on people. And so that's really, people are going to, in life, they're going to remember how you made them feel. And that's really what we have. That's what we carry with us, is how do we go through life making people feel on a daily basis? And if you're not really a people person, then this is where you really need to say, okay, I need to change this. I need to start, really investing in more of my relationships. And so your relationships with your elites, as silver, how deep are they? Get to know them, ask questions, send them something, vacation with them, whatever it is, just work on like getting close to them. And I know that there's times where there's some issues, but you know what? I always believe there's reconciliation. I always believe in reconciliation and love is always going to win. Okay. So if you have a situation where it's difficult, pray about that. Think about love and that can be healed. But really, most of the people that you're working with, obviously you're already close with, just really get close with them. So another thing is the abundance mindset. Abundance mentality is what is attractive. And this is part of getting a team culture of positivity. Become fierce about protecting this and cultivating that. When I say fierce, it means when somebody that you're talking to on the phone or someone on your team or a new sheriff says something like, well, everyone's doing doTERRA and I feel like everyone is around me doing doTERRA. Don't just be like, oh, no. You become fierce about protecting abundance. And what you say is, not true. Let me tell you the truth. Our vision is to get doTERRA oils into every single home. That's what we do. And let me tell you that less than 0.5 to 1% of adults have any connection to doTERRA. That's the truth. So that gives you an idea of saturation. And that's what you have to tell people that ever mention that to you. You say, no, that's not the truth. This is where you need to help reframe their mind, because that's scarcity thinking. And we don't do that. You don't want scarcity on your team. So we have a lot of work to do. And that's what you tell this person. We have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of homes to get doTERRA oils in. Only less than 1% of homes have doTERRA. So we have a lot of work to do. Make sure you're telling this to your team and that you're talking about abundance, because I just realized this going to a class last night. I mean, I'm in Hilton Head, so many people know each other, but there's still so many people, and none of the people in the class knew about doTERRA. One said she told her coworkers that she was going to an oil class, and one like gave her an aspirin and was like, oh, you're going to like talk about like olive oils and like those bread, like dip breads in olive oils with like balsamic vinegar. I mean, literally, she was laughing. And then the other one said something else. She thought she was like, oh gosh, I can't even remember what it was, but I was laughing so hard. They had no idea what essential oil was. So it just reminds you, like, okay, abundance, really go out there and change the world. Okay. That's what we do. We walk in abundance. And when our team is struggling with scarcity, we let them know that is not the way to think. That's wrong. And that's not how we do it in doTERRA, and help them, but be very fierce about this in a good way. Just say, that's not true. Here's the truth. Because that's a struggle the problem with scarcity is it stops action. So if somebody has a scarcity mindset and they think that everyone around them is doing it, well, guess what? Now they're not going to take action and go share. So that's actually really hurting themselves. It's hurting the mission of doTERRA, and because they're literally believing in something that's not true. So abundance mindset is key. Integrity. We can't talk about culture without talking about integrity. Integrity is doing the right thing. And we want to do the right thing at all times, and also teach our team to do the same. So spread integrity. I mean, this is me, picture me doing a booth. I do booths here and there. So I meet people out in the community. I've got people coming out saying, oh, I love doTERRA. Don't cross recruit them. We know this in doTERRA. Our team is really good about this. Make sure you're telling your newbies not to do that too, because, at the end of our life, there's not going to be any teams. So we want to show honor, respect, and support. Prosperity is going to follow, and integrity is how you walk. It's how you do the right thing. And, sometimes when someone's new, we can make mistakes, do things that aren't really in integrity without really realizing it. But you know what? We can always grow in this. And so, but integrity is really duplicated. So if you can walk in integrity and start to do those right things and walk in that, your team's going to walk in integrity as well. Cross-line collaboration. Love this about doTERRA culture. And this is what we want in the teams. This is why we come together in Solid Silver and Roadmap to Success. And we have our Facebook groups. We have our online meetings. We have our face-to-face. This is all of us in Seaside. I'm like best friends with, my cross lines. And Sherry's always established that with us. I've always wanted to do the same. Like my frontline leaders, my qualifiers, they're all very close. I always get them together. And this is something that you want your leaders getting together. So have, your frontline come together, work together, collaborate, and have that community over competition. That's what doTERRA is community over competition. Women supporting women. It doesn't matter what team you're on. We are all cross-line. We collaborate together. We work together. Dana's Moore and Krista Pardue aren't on our team. But they came and they did an event with us, and they trained us, and they trained our team, and it was just fantastic. So this is the culture, cross-line collaboration. When you get to diamond retreats and when you do blue and presidential retreats in other companies, they cannot do that. They can't put their top leaders in one room because there is so much bad blood. There's so much competition, and they hate each other. In doTERRA, presidential's they're like best friends. I mean, they're like your closest people because we get each other. We are all part of the same mission. And so this is abundance. This is how we're able to grow. This is when people come to a class and they see, multiple teams there, and they realize, wow, this is something I want to be part of. This is so, again, uniting, not dividing. And so cross-line collaboration is always something that you want to promote. Sense of belonging. This is part of the team. And this is where understanding, that people want to feel like they're part of something. This is us going out to dinner. I get together with my team a lot. We do Super Saturdays. This is where you can really just have people feel like a lot of people join because they want a sense of belonging, they want a community. So offer these opportunities for people to get together, and think of your network marketing community culture as one that serves a significant emotional need. So lots of love happening on your team. Make sure people are hugging and getting together. Make sure the dudes are getting doTERRA time. Help people to connect and understand there's an emotional aspect. People want to belong to something, and it's important for their sense of well-being. Okay, so that's what we're actually serving an emotional need for. Culture is also a recruiting tool. Your culture can recruit. And I have seen this happen over and over. Um, put your photos of your tribe out there. You can create a culture that's so awesome that people want to learn more about your business as a result of the kinds of people that you attract. So I always post photos when I'm traveling, when I'm getting around my team. That's us in Seaside on the right. The Oil Mob has arrived. Like, the energy, like getting everyone together. They're all like besties and they're all crossline. That's us at the airport with Michelle and Rachel when we were headed out to Utah. That's us. That's my most of my front lines besides Messer, my qualifiers. All of us partying every year at the gala. And it's so funny. Whenever I do one of these events, I have like random people like message me and they'll be like, I want to talk to you. Like, and a lot of times they're asking about the business. Like looks like you have a lot of fun. And a lot of people have joined my team because they feel like, wow, those people look fun. Like that, those look like my people. So you can use that culture of your team. For me, it's always been about fun, laughter, having a good time. There may or may not be some wine involved. Just that's what I always like to put out there and have a great time. And, I look at these pictures and I just want to cry sometimes because there's so much emotion. These are my family. I love getting these people together. I love getting everyone together. And so really having this positive team culture, this is where my people, like I have such confidence in my team because they're freaking amazing and they have the freedom to flourish and be who they are. But they have a community and they have a culture that supports them and that's so for them. And that's always been what I wanted to create. And so if you're looking to attract others, make sure you're showcasing your amazing tribe and crossline that you get to work with. And so the people that are going to fit into your culture become attracted to it and they may end up working with you. Okay, so other things, go to gala. Get your team to go to gala. I didn't go my first year and like now I won't even stop it because I love getting my team together and like dressing up. I mean, we never get to do that. Like it's so much fun. So make sure you go to gala at convention and make sure you go to convention. This is where a lot of these bonds are, you form lifetime bonds. And so all these people here, they all go to all the events and they're uber successful because of it. So how to build culture that breeds longevity. Culture doesn't happen by chance. It takes effort. So this is our team down in leadership. And that's one of the executives of doTERRA that came to our dinner. And we were at the season 52. And so that was a really special night. So how do you build a culture? Here's some tips before we close and open up for questions. So write these down. These are simple things you can start to implement. Now, don't get overwhelmed. You don't have to do all of these things. This is really for ideas. I don't do all of these things at all the time every month. Okay. So know that I've done these things and what I'm in the process of doing is have allotted my team taking over some of these things. So I start them, I activate, and then I collaborate with my team and a lot of them are doing them on their own. Okay. So meet regularly. Nothing is going to trump in person. But if you can't get to your local team, if you don't have a local team, I'll tell you right now, build a local team. I don't care if you have one person, one customer, get them coming over every month. Build a local team. For your people that don't live locally, meet with them on Zoom. Marco Polo, that's a great tool, an app that you can actually communicate with your people and see them face to face. So get in front of them, build rapport, encourage productivity. Local events are powerful. We started doing Super Saturdays last year. They're awesome. We have a rollerball make and take that we do every Super Saturday. We were doing it once a month. We might be doing every other month now. But we promote it on social media. We have immune rollers that we make. We have AromaTouch hand massage station. So my entire team, my local team, they all have a role in it. And it's so fun. And it just, anytime we all get together, it grows that bond. Okay. So what you're trying to do here, culture is built at events. That's how you build culture and how you spend time with people. Business boot camps, you can do those. Leadership convention should be a no-brainer as a leader. You got to go to those things because if you're not showing up for your team, they're like, oh, where's they're not connecting with you in person. Post-convention tour, make sure you go to all of the corporate events that come to you. Zoom meetings like we're doing now, online platforms, your Facebook groups, connect into Upline. You don't have to have your own Facebook group, but just make sure they're in Essentials Coach, Oil Mob. For community, for customers, you want to put them in your customer support group or HLE product support, which is run by Jen Oldham. So connect them to Upline. Make sure your people are brought into the team. Make sure they're brought into our community. Get to know your team better. That's the next thing. Whenever you're around, leadership convention, make sure you make an effort to have people be able to get FaceTime, even for 15 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever. We always go to breakfast and convention. Get your people together. If you're local, just make an effort to do something with them. Celebrate birthdays, holidays. A great leader understands how to draw out the talent around them. If you're not around your people regularly, it's going to be hard to really see the type and draw out the talent that's in them because you don't know them. Learn how to motivate your team. And then also keep them accountable, because when they're connected and they're bonded, if one of these members, is having a hard time or just disengaged, they're connected with all the others. And so they're going to be pulled back in. They have accountability there. So promote a culture of learning. That's another thing that you want to do. So maybe this year you think about doing AromaTouch certification with the team. You have an AromaTouch instructor come and you actually host one with your people, or you grab one of your, key leaders and you say, hey, let's go to this AromaTouch certification. Symphony of the Cells. Oh my gosh, that's an amazing thing. I think one of my leaders, Ya-Ching, is doing Symphony of the Cells at her house like once a month, where they're coming together and they're all doing symphony on each other. That's a great way to do culture. Super Saturdays, like I said, we have some of the greatest memories, getting together to learn. I went with a couple of my leaders to Symphony of the Cells in North Carolina, and we spent the night, and we traveled to do Symphony of the Cells with Christy and Dana. That was awesome. So yeah, just promote learning, do this stuff together. When they acquire new skills, it allows them to feel more confident, and it adds value to their team and to their workplace. So, when you put people through AromaTouch, they're going to go and do AromaTouch on people. When you have Super Saturdays, that's Chantel and Andreza doing the Lifelong Vitality Station. They put that together. It was absolutely amazing. It's like the best booth I've ever seen. And they created that, and it's so awesome, because now they have that to do whenever they want to do any type of event where they have a booth there. So ongoing training and opportunities. Celebrate short-term wins. So make sure that you're recognizing your people when they have success. Announce them, on social media, congratulate them, send them a note in the mail. You don't have to buy them anything. If you want to send an oil, do that. But, just send them a note and say, I'm so, excited for you. You're gonna have a great year. Encourage them is key. And then definitely embrace failure as well. Make sure that you have a culture of embracing failure. Okay. Let people know that things are going to happen. Try, fail, learn, repeat. Anything that's successful, any millionaire, billionaire, entrepreneur, they're going to tell you it's just part of the road to success is failure. You don't stop after failure. You just keep going. And so I don't even recognize, when I fail, I'm like, I don't even think of it like that, even though it is it's not real. It's really just, oh, well, that didn't work, and keep going. You just become used to it and understand some things not everything works out, but embrace failure, because that means you're actually trying. If you don't have your team failing, then something's wrong. That means they're not doing anything. So success, and then evaluate. So, okay, what went well with this class? What didn't? Well, no one came. Oh, okay. Let's talk about that. How do we evaluate why no one came? Was it just a fluke thing? How was your invitations? How many people did you invite? Did you connect with them 2 days before? Did you text them the day of? Go through those things and evaluate. Create systems. That's another thing. Make sure that you're equipping your team to be successful so that they can go out there and kick butt. So systems duplicate, follow up with customers after they enroll, do oil camp, make sure you're pulling your customers in, 90-day check-in. I have everything. This is taking me a while, but now I have a 90-day check-in. So once a month, I have one day out of the month. It's on my calendar, and it's a 90-day check-in. So people that enrolled 90 days ago, Brandon actually it's a system that works for us, but he sends me those people. So one day a month, I have a 90-day check-in. So people that enrolled 90 days ago, I call them, I reach out to them, I check in with them. I make sure that they're on LRP. If they're not on LRP, I reach out to them. Have they gone through oil camp yet? They should have definitely gone through oil camp, because oil camp is the next step after they enroll. And then future check-ins. If you enrolled somebody a year ago, have you talked to them? make sure you're reaching out to the people that you've enrolled so they're not just like left to the wayside. So build the relationships with your customers. Launch new builders. Make sure you have, like I use Roadmap to Success, the ebook that we're taking people through. Give them something, make sure you're equipping your people with what they need. A system. Systems are what duplicates. So culture begins today, and it starts with you. Strong culture endures. Be the one to lead with integrity. The business is always going to have ups and downs, but the culture can remain a steady, constant force for good and a source of inspiration for all. So we've covered a lot. I would love to hear, I'm going to open it up, and I'd love to hear what y'all are doing for your team to create an unstoppable culture. So we're going to open this up to questions. I'll stay on for the next 15, 20 minutes or so, and we can chat. I'm going to get out of this screen. All right. Let's see. Can you guys see me?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
Hey, Steph, I'm gonna say that culture is not something I've really even thought about. I mean, I love the culture of doTERRA. I love the culture of our team, but I'm gonna be honest, I never thought about, am I putting a culture, am I reproducing that culture in my team? So I'm really excited about what you've shared with us today, and I need to take a look at that. I wrote down, how do I want my team to feel? I mean, I'm all about educating and teaching and encouraging, but I think what question popped into my head is, what does my team feel like our culture is? And that's where I really want to look this week and see, because culture is not going to happen by accident, and I haven't thought about it in depth. And so that's going to be my to-do this week.
That's awesome. I love it. And that's I wasn't thinking about culture really that much. And I mean, now you have to, as you grow as a leader, but I always knew I wanted to have fun and attract people and have a good time. And I felt like I've always naturally been sensitive to when people were like enjoying themselves or having fun. So, and also getting to events, like I'm always like, let's go to Utah. Let's go, promoting events and getting people there and getting them face to face. But yeah, some great questions for you, Terry, would be, again, collaboration. So as a leader, because they're collaborators with you, is pulling them into this whole thing. So the team that you're creating is picking out your elites and saying, hey, I would love your feedback. Can we jump on the phone for like a few minutes this week? Because I'd love to hear your thoughts, and ask them questions on, what do they want to create? What are they excited about? What lights them up? And what types of things would they be excited about doing for the team? How do they feel as far as the team that you're creating, and maybe create this culture together? And I think that when people feel part of something, then they're, they feel like, oh, I can contribute to this. So part of being a great leader is having a vision, and then asking your people to develop that vision with you. So great. That's a good thing to do, is just call them and say, hey, like, I have some questions for you, and write down. You can actually Google questions to ask employees, but they're not your employees, team members, on how to create a culture. And they'll give you some of the organizational questions that you can ask your people. And yeah, write down these words, and like some of these events and things, you can be like, any of these really, excite you? What do you feel like would be a really powerful thing for our team this year? Locally, and the people that you have that aren't local, So yeah, anyone else have comments or questions? Yeah, your teams definitely have a culture. So I've seen this too with different teams. What you have duplicates, because you might have three teams right now, right? So silver, some of you might have, I don't know if any of you have four legs, but for the most part you have three people that you're building, or three. So I also, in the beginning, it's good to think about this, because it becomes a little different situation when you've grown and you've got bigger teams. It's a lot easier to handle it now, because, you know, that leader of each team, it's going to fall on you. So if you have a placeholder somewhere, that's your, you know, that person isn't really, if there's just a placeholder, like that's your team. So make sure they're getting the same, you know, and you can see this develop. I mean, I have my culture of my team, and then I can see my 6 leaders developing their own. I mean, it's a different culture. When I go to convention and I'm able to, like a lot of my leaders will have their teams get together and they're running their own things, their own lunches. And it's so funny, like going to Nikki's team, going to Yach's team, like they're my team. And it's like, but it's so cool to see the culture of the one team and the culture of the other team. Like they're similar, but they're different. I mean, they're different. It's a different culture. And I feel that as a leader, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like so awesome. Like, it's just a different culture here than it is there. And they're both great. They're both amazing, you know? So it's just really neat to see that. So understand your team has a culture, whether you're actually conscious of it or not. And my leaders who are really big on culture, like, I've got Nikki on here right now. Anyone that's on Nikki's team, y'all know. Yeah. A lot of you are on here from Nikki's team. I mean, all my leaders are great at getting culture. And, you know, Nikki's been with me probably the longest. And so, you know, she's got her own culture on her team, and it's amazing. So who else has questions? It could be about anything. I'll just hang out if you guys have questions for me. Pick my brain.
Steph?
Hey.
I'll be brave in talking, but I've talked to you about this already, but like I do have the abundance mindset and I have great faith, but like here in Santa Cruz, there are so many people doing doTERRA, and that is like an emotional roller coaster for me. Like I pour so much out and then someone ends up enrolling with someone else, and I just wonder, like, I don't know how to get the right mindset with that. And then, I don't know, it just gets so discouraging sometimes. Like, I wish could you speak into that a little bit more? Like, are there some areas too where maybe there's not so many wellness advocates as compared to like to Santa Cruz?
I mean, I do feel like it's going to be more and more. I think, you know, with abundance, I think just even more focus and training on that. And when you leave your house, I heard you say the words, there's so many wellness advocates doing doTERRA. I would stop saying that, because you do say that a lot. And the reality is, of course, I mean, we have 7 million. I can tell you, we have 7 million, you know, users. They're not all wellness advocates, but we have 7 million users. So there's 7 million people with accounts with doTERRA. So that's the number. But like I said, I would reframe the words. And I think that when you reframe, because words are super powerful, when you reframe words and you start speaking things that say, when you wake up, and maybe you write this down on your mirror, from corporate, I have it on my text message, between 0.5% and 1% of Americans are actually connected to doTERRA. So that's actually the percentage and the reality. So yeah, of course there's a lot of people, you know, sharing doTERRA because it's freaking awesome. Let me warn you, if there's ever a company where there isn't, like, and I've been here, I was selling products for a company prior to doTERRA and nobody knew about this company. Can I tell you how hard that was? It was like rolling a bowling ball up a mountain, because in the beginning I thought, oh, I'm like the only one doing this. This is so cool. No, it's not, because no one knows what, I mean, they liked me and I could sell it, but it was because of me. Like, they were like, what is this company? I've never heard of it. No one ever heard of it. So it's very difficult to sell a company that doesn't have credibility and that doesn't, if people around you aren't saying yes, 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 there's a problem. When I'm encouraged by knowing, like, look at all these people saying yes to doTERRA. So they're going to say yes to me because they bought from that person. Like, they are saying yes because it's the bomb. And so you definitely want to see, I would be encouraged by people around you. And again, cross-lane collaboration but I would definitely write that down and just start saying before you leave your house, oh my gosh, there's so much work to be done. Only less than 1% of people that I'm going to talk to today or around me that I'm living, less than 1% of the households in Santa Cruz have doTERRA. That's what you should say. And also, and I think starting there, because speaking the truth is going to help. Because it's easy in our time. I mean, if I just looked at my circle, and I'm in a very health-centered circle. So of course I have a lot of people doing doTERRA, hearing about doTERRA. But if I get out into a circle that's like not, like last night, like, and they think that oils are like olive oil and balsamic and like, then I realized like, oh my gosh, they're like, they have no idea what an oil class is. And she's like, oh, I had a headache. And so she gave me an aspirin, and the woman was breaking out in hives in the class. And she's like, oh, it's not from the oils, it's from the aspirin I took. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So she bought a home essentials kit, but this is like a huge life change for her. And it reminded me to get out of my circle, to go out there to these people in these companies that are literally, I mean, she has a ton of people that have none of her friends. They're like, what is that? So yeah, I think, again, you're aware of it, mindset. Santa Cruz is an awesome area. I'd start putting Santa Cruz is the bomb because so many people here love natural, and I'm going to meet those people. I would always say, God, bring people into my path that need to hear what I have today. This woman is breaking out in hives because she's aspirin.
Okay, thanks, Steph. That's awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, I think this is a very good point, Heidi, to bring up. And I think that a lot of us deal with some aspect of this, but also I think if you don't deal with it personally and you feel like you have a great abundance mindset, people on your team do. And so if you don't yourself aren't struggling with abundance mindset when it comes to, how many people are doing saturation, someone on your team is going to bring up saturation. And how you respond to that is going to be the key. So we need to respond with the truth and be fierce about protecting the fact, because what's going to happen if people think that it's saturated, which it's not, and we can prove it by all of our percentages from corporate, but they're going to not do the work that we have to do. And doTERRA has a very clear mission to get oils into every single home. So if we have people out there thinking that it's saturated, then they may choose not to do that. And we may choose not to do that. And that actually kills our mission. So our mission at the end of the day is every single home.
Yes,
okay, so,
well said.
Yeah. So good point, Heidi. I'm glad you brought that up. And I hope that this can help any of you as you're also leading your team in being fierce about protecting this. Anyone else?
Hey, Steph, I had a question.
Yeah.
This is Misty. And this is totally unrelated, but talking about business accounts, and I know that you are really great about going into businesses and getting them set up. How do you know when to just kind of set them up as just the regular wellness advocate or to do the business account? Can you talk on the differences with that?
Yeah. So I actually have a local business here that I'm meeting with later today that I signed up about a month or two ago. So sometimes you don't exactly know, like in my situation, it was not a lot of time because they're very busy, the owners. And so they just wanted to get oils and they want to get it. So you got to remove like the roadblocks. Like sometimes they just like, hey, make it easy. I want oils and I want diffusers in every single room. That was the situation. And so sometimes by talking about all these nitty gritty details versus like, okay, great, here's what, let's do this. And then I'll just take your credit card. Because that's what he was really kind of wanting to do. Here's my credit card. This is what I want. Take it, whatever. That's all I could get out of him. Now it's been about a month or two. I'm going in today and we're going to talk more details. I just said I signed him up to make the order. He wanted to order. Never get in the way of them actually getting oils. The other company he signed up, one of his partners here, they needed oils like right away. So it's kind of like an urgent thing. So I wanted to make it super easy. So what I did was, and this company signed up. And so I just signed him up I said, let's just sign it up in your name. Let's just make the order. Let's just get you oils. Okay. I signed him up as a wholesale customer. I said, we can always work out the details. We can always, put it in the business name, all of that. And it's actually an easier switch if they just transfer it into the business name. Like all they're doing is just enrolling as a wholesale customer and putting in their name. They can always switch it to the business account. That's what I did. So I was like under Stephanie Stavola for like 3 years. I didn't even get switched to S Corp until like last year. So I usually just get the order, all of that, and then say, let's get you ordered. Then at any point, like I'm going to send you forms. There's 5 forms, the business account stuff, and we can just transfer it into the business. So that's kind of what we did. I normally enroll them. I make the order, get the order in first. Cause like if you fill out the business forms, like that could take a whole week. Like usually when we're getting orders, we want orders now. I want that volume now. And especially if it's end of the month, like I might need that volume today. So I always push like, let's just get the order, you enroll it, and then we'll transfer it into your business account. So does that help?
Yes, that's awesome. I didn't know that you could transfer to business.
Oh yeah. I mean, it takes like, it's 5 forms, and I said, I'm going to send them over email. I always say it's super simple. If you want your assistant to do it, give me her email. I'll send it to her email, and she can just do it for you. But it's 5 forms. Like they'll pull like and that's why, like I always say, let's just get the order done. And those other forms we can just fill out when you get the time. There's no rush. They don't have to fill out the business forms. We can transfer it into the business as soon as you want, but there's no rush to do that. Like I'll send you the forms over email, and then that transfer's super easy. Just make it super easy. And then, there doesn't have to be a rush for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And you don't have to be a wellness advocate to be it in the business name. So I enrolled him as a customer. I still don't want him upgrading it to wellness advocate, only because we're going to talk today, and I don't know if I want to keep him where he is, or might want to wait 90 days. So I upgrade, I put it into the business name, but I still have him as a wholesale customer. So you can be a wholesale customer and have a business account, and then still upgrade. Like then he can upgrade the business to actually sell the oils there. He just hasn't done that yet. So that's a good point to know. I actually didn't know you could do that. I thought you had to be in the business. I thought you had to be a wellness advocate to have a business account, but you don't. You can be a wholesale customer with a business account.
Hey, Steph, if we have our own business, like mine is Learning Health and Wellness, do you recommend that we go ahead and transfer? Like, should I transfer mine to my business name?
If it's more for tax purposes, I feel like, for me, I switched over to S Corp because there's tax benefits. I don't feel like that was substantial. There's tax benefits for me, like gold, like I barely paid any taxes because all of the write-offs. So like definitely, I'm very big on the tax thing. You guys should definitely be working with a tax person that knows what they're doing, because you shouldn't be paying any taxes, by the way, for like a while. I started paying a little bit when I was gold, but for the most part, you can write off everything, like everything. This business requires a lot. So you should not really be paying taxes. When it got to the point where, I was definitely like paying taxes in order to save, then the S Corp, where I'm on payroll, I switched into S Corp. But I don't know like what you can talk to, make sure your accountant, and we can refer to people, and doTERRA has like a list, but or the leaders do. Don't work with an accountant that doesn't understand network marketing or this type of business. I always look for someone that understands this field and that works with diamonds and above, because you don't need more taxes than you should.
Do you know how to start looking for an accountant that understands MLMs? Is there?
Yeah, I can probably just post a list.
Okay.
For you guys. I would give you mine, but he actually I don't know what's going on. He was really good, and then he just stopped working for this firm. So so now I don't want to refer to him yet because I don't know what's going on, but he was really good. So we're trying to figure out if we're staying with his firm, which does work with doTERRA people. I just want to confirm that before I post it, because I'm so used to working with this guy, and now he's not with the firm anymore. So I'm trying to get to the bottom as to why. I think I'll stay with the firm versus go off with him, because I can't figure out what happened. But these are doTERRA. They're in Salt Lake. They're in Utah. They work with a lot of MLM people. And they're really good. That's what I look for, because we have a ridiculous amount of write-offs. We can write off so many things. We really can. And it's legit. We are entrepreneurs. So I always say if you're trying to do this on your own and you don't know like how to write off all your stuff, pay somebody $200 or $300 because they're going to save you thousands. You know, that's what I say. It makes sense to pay $300 to have somebody else do it than to have you try to figure it out. And then you miss stuff. And then if you're paying thousands of dollars in taxes, something's wrong.
Where will you post that for us, Steph?
I will post, I have to figure out the thread, and then I'll just make a list on Google Docs, and then I'll just post the Google Doc.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Steph, what's your like main thing as far as going into businesses, and how do you get them to sign up? Like, I've never really cold called a business, but I want to be able to start going into businesses and getting them to do that.
Yeah.
But I've never done it. Like, I don't know what a script would be.
Yeah. So I haven't cold called either. Not a huge fan of cold calling. I prefer to form a relationship by walking in and trying, you know, this business was referred to me by someone, a mental health therapist that works there. It's a new business. It's a holistic health center. And so a therapist that enrolled with me in doTERRA, as a customer, she told me that it was opening up. And so when it opened up, they were approached by another advocate that I don't know. She's on my team. And this therapist, because she knew me, said, no, I want Stephanie. And so it just kind of happened, you know, because I built myself as a leader here, and I'm out in the community a lot, and I work the area. So I would say work the area. What's helped me is, and what I'm actually planning on doing for February, because I stepped kind of away from this the past quarter, is get back into networking. And so I picked a day. So Wednesday is my networking. So anything involved in the community, my Wednesday is my theme. It's community, it's networking, it's growth, it's recruiting, it's out there. And it's personal. It's my personal enrollment recruiting community day. And so, like for this, when they booked the meeting, I said, hey, does Wednesdays work for you to meet? I asked them, because that's my day to meet with the community. So Wednesday's my networking day. I'm going to probably be joining like either starting a holistic happy hour in Hilton Head is what I'm thinking about doing. Or before, if I was doing BNI, I would do BNI on, but I've done BNI, and I think I'm going to start my own happy hour.
What's that?
BNI is Business Networking International, which you'd probably love out in San Diego. It's probably a really good deal. That was how I started in networking, and that's actually how I started in Connecticut, because I didn't know anybody when I started doing doTERRA. I didn't have, like, I just knew a few people from Brandon, but that's not where I was from, so I didn't know anybody. So I joined BNI, which is Business Networking International, and you can go to their website, bni.com, and then look at a group. And it's not for everyone, but for me, it really helped me, and I found a really good group. So I always say go as a guest and just see how you feel, based on, you know, your area. I don't know your groups, but BNI is a very good organization. So networking, Chamber of Commerce, I'm doing a Bible study, not leading one, but that's Wednesday for an hour, which isn't, for me, that's more like growth. I'm not going there to network with meet people, but I'm going there because I've been wanting to incorporate that. And so what I like about it is it's getting me out into the community. And from there, either before or after, I will be, you know, scheduling meetings so that I'm actually getting out. So that's my commitment, so I can grow. And that's something I want to develop in myself, kind of getting back to that. And so that's going to get me out of the house. And then I'm also, as I'm out of the house, Wednesday's my day to network. So that kind of helps, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. So lots of tax stuff. Okay, yeah, I'll post that. Yeah, is everyone excited about team culture? Yeah, and you know, pull your personality to it. I mean, think about the strengths of how you've gotten to silver or premier silver. You know, it's a big deal. So you've got strengths and things that people are attracted to. So your culture, you know, make sure you have those words that are important to you. You know, letting your light shine. You know, for me, it was always about fun. I like having fun. So it was important for my team to have fun whenever we're together. But anyways, yeah, anybody else before we jump off? Guess not.
Thanks, Steph.
You're welcome. So homework today is listed in there. And I love you guys. You're welcome, Dana. Love seeing all you guys on here. Hope you're loving Solid Silver. Oh, one more thing. Reactivation. I'm about to go live in my team, part of my team culture, and pump everybody up. I'm going to do a reactivation promotion. So on my team, I'm going to do last 2 days, whoever gets the most reactivations, I'm going to give something really, really, really good. And I think I'm going to give something if they have a minimum amount of people, because if you would just like 1 or 2 hours today, 1 or 2 hours, you have 2 days left, go to your weak legs, the volume that you need, go look at the people that you've enrolled. If they haven't ordered since August, reach out to them, call them, text them, check in with them. How are you doing? Serve them, love them. Are you using your oils? You haven't ordered in a while. I wanted to check in. They're probably not using them that much, so help them. Or they'll be like, oh, I need to. Thanks for calling. Well, I also want to tell you, I know you haven't ordered in a while, so you qualify for the free On Guard and Breathe. On Guard and Breathe, I mean, hello, these people bought oils at one point. They know what that is. So I'd be like, you qualify for it. You can get free On Guard and Breathe. So I just want to see if you wanted it. Do you want to join our next oil camp? It starts Monday, and that would really help you to learn how to use your oils, because, you know, the main thing is you got to learn how to use them. We have cold and flu season coming up. You're looking out for these people. If they haven't ordered since August, what are they doing to help their immune system? You know? So reach out, reactivate. You have 2 days left to reactivate people, and go with your weak legs. Try to get those people back in. And say, LRP, get on LRP, get the free On Guard and Breathe. And like, you know, I think the main problem here is you just haven't gone through oil camp, and we weren't running these when you first started. We're running them now. So this will really help you to use those oils, and I can give you some tips on how to get triggered, so that if you put your oils, you know, where you have your oils right now, I probably guarantee they're not by your water station. I probably guarantee they're not by your front door. I probably guarantee they're not in your bedside table. You're not seeing them. Are they in your cabinets? That's why you're not using them. So 1, you don't know how to use them. 2, you're not being triggered. You don't have them in front of you. So little tips like that can help people to relaunch using their oils as customers, you know, and be like, I just want to remind you how to use them and help you, because, you know, you got them a while ago, and I want to teach you how to use them. That's why I'm here. So approach people with love, serve them, make sure they're using their oils, because everyone should be.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, reactivate, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye.